Hello and welcome to Friday's programme.
Your headlines tonight. A major incident's declared in Wiltshire after land catches fire around the famous Westbury White Horse.
The family of murdered Bristol teenager Darian Williams hold a community event in his memory in the park where he was stabbed.
Stroud's historic Lido reopens this weekend after a lengthy local campaign and a £500,000 makeover.
We're just coming into seal pup season and I'm out with the wardens on Lundy making sure they're not disturbed at this vital time.
Good evening. First tonight, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Service has declared a major incident due to a large number of wildfires across the two counties, including one at the Westbury White Horse.
It comes as the government imposes a temporary ban on disposable barbecues, saying they pose a significant risk to the public. Well, Karen Bell is in Wiltshire for us tonight near the White Horse. We can see the burnt ground next to you, Karen. This is one of a number of fires, isn't it?
It is, Alex. Yeah, it's been a really challenging day for the fire services. I'm just down from Bratton Camp, a really well-known landscape just near Westbury, as you say, because of the White Horse around the corner. And just look at what's happened over the past 24 hours. This lunar landscape, you can really smell a strong smell of smoke still. Fire service still on site, still damping down one of the hot spots. But thanks to their hard work all night, the worst of it is now out. I'm joined by Mike Phillips, a Wiltshire councillor for the area. I mean, Mike, gosh, this is a bit of a near miss, wasn't it?
It certainly was, yes, for the village of Bratton, which is just over your shoulder. I really have to say thank you again to Wiltshire and Dorset Fire because they've really done a good job here at containing what could have been a disaster. Just over the brow of the hill there, we have a row of houses and they could easily have been affected.
Do we know what started this?
Unfortunately not, but I think looking around you, you can see that the landscape is as dry as a tinder. So the slightest source of ignition is going to cause a problem. I suppose you could speculate that it may have been something that happened on the night of the eclipse, because there were many hundreds of people up here to see the eclipse, with a great westerly looking aspect here that you have.
Yeah, and of course we're hearing today the government has temporarily banned the sale of disposable barbecues. I'm sure you're pleased to hear that, Mike. And there's been fires all over the region today. I know people in Gloucestershire and South Gloucestershire would have seen a lot of the smoke coming over from South Wales as well. But what a dramatic illustration of the hot, dry summer we're having at the moment.
It really is, and quite worrying times ahead until the rain comes as well. Karen, thank you very much.
We move to other news now, and a man who murdered his wife more than 20 years ago will remain in jail following a High Court ruling. Glyn Rozelle was jailed for life in 2003 for the murder of his wife Linda, who vanished on her way to work. He's never revealed where her body is. Rozelle has been set for release after being approved by a parole board, but that decision has now been overruled.
Me and my family were all feeling very relieved. We think that the right decision has been made. We think when an offender has undertaken little to no risk reduction work, especially when they have been convicted of murder, as in my father's case, that, really that they shouldn't be released.
Now, a community event is underway in Bristol tonight to help raise money to tackle knife crime. It's taking place in Rawnsley Park, where 16-year-old Darian Williams was murdered more than 2 years ago. The event has been organised by his sister, Shanine.
It's hoped that the event will help turn the family's pain into something positive. Well, our reporter Max Walsh is there for us tonight. And Max, it goes without saying, this is deeply personal for Darian's family, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And that's because back in February 2024, Darian was playing with his friends in this park when he was fatally stabbed. Today is all about, as you said, creating a positive legacy. We've got lots of music and games. Hundreds of people have been coming here to enjoy the day. And I'm going to have a chat now with Darian's sister, Shanine. Shanine, look, tell me, why did you want to organise this event?
I wanted to organise this event to just reclaim back the park and make it back to the community, to show the young people that this park doesn't have to be remembered for the bad stories, for example, my brother being killed here, but I want it to be remembered as a park for young people to come to enjoy, and just to remember that we are one community, and if we all stick together, our days will be a lot more brighter.
And look, you've told me so many times about Darian before, what a cheeky chappy he is. I mean, what would he be making of this event in his name now?
I think he'd be like, you are absolutely mental, but he'd be so proud of me, like, wow, you pulled out the bag. I mean, less than 4 weeks we've done this, so yeah, I think he'd be very proud and be like, wow, all for me, and yeah, always for him.
Shanine, thank you very much. Well, look, there's lots more going on here. We've got lots of organisations who've been here today, along with the face painting and the music. We've also got the police here as well. And this is all about raising money for the anti-knife crime charity Bin the Blade, which is run by Leanne Reynolds. Leanne, look, tell me, where's this money going? What's it going to achieve?
We're going to continue with our campaign, so more preventative workshops, working with young people, doing more fun days. It's been a very nice day. We've seen children come from all over the city. Loads of organisations have been involved today, so we want to continue this theme across the city.
Yeah, very, very well said. And look, hundreds of people have been here. It's set to go on for a few more hours, yeah. And as everyone's been pointing out, this is all about trying to create a positive legacy for Darian after he was murdered more than 2 years ago.
Yeah, Max, thank you. As you said, something positive to come out, something just awful. Now, the sister of a 26-year-old man whose body was discovered in a river in Bristol after going missing says she still has unanswered questions as to how he died.
An inquest into Louis Piavasana's death found no suggestion of third-party involvement, but his family say they still can't make sense of what happened. Victoria Davis reports.
This is the last time Louis Piavasana was seen alive. Captured on CCTV wandering round the Eastgate Retail Park in Bristol. Days later, his body was found in the nearby river. Yesterday, a coroner recorded that Louis died after immersion in water, but the events leading up to the 26-year-old's death remains a mystery.
It was a narrative conclusion that he entered the water. They don't know how he got in the water. They don't know how he died. The police had originally made an assumption that he fell off a bridge, and they ruled that out, that just wasn't plausible. So yeah, now it's just more questions. But I think that's just something we're going to have to live with, that we'll never know what actually happened on that night.
But what the family does know is that Louis was on a night out with friends in Bristol on the 27th of February last year. During the night, he'd consumed magic mushrooms and alcohol. In the early hours of the 28th of February, his friends ordered Louis a taxi home after he became agitated. The inquest heard how 4 minutes later Louis rang his girlfriend and left a distress voicemail in which he said the taxi driver was trying to kidnap him. At 3:03 a.m, he rang 999 telling police he'd been drugged and was on the motorway. At the same time, a motorist called 999 to report a pedestrian walking on the motorway. Police officers attended 16 minutes later, but couldn't locate him. What followed was 4 days of searching by his friends and family. His body was eventually discovered in the River Frome on the 3rd of March after an extensive search by a police dive team. But Louis' family is critical of how officers investigated.
The police ruled quite early on that it was like an accident, that obviously he'd been on a night out, he was with his friends and they had a fun time, so we knew he'd drank and stuff. And then obviously there was a lot more things that played into it. So his cards had been stolen by known criminals and his clothing was damaged, and he made 999 calls, so he was clearly in distress. And we can't obviously ever say what happened, but we just wish all avenues were explored, which we feel they weren't. And that's something that always kind of will play on our minds.
An inquest yesterday found no evidence of third-party involvement in his death. In a statement, Avon and Somerset Police said, "Our thoughts remain with the family of Louis Piavasana following his tragic death last year. The inquest included evidence from police around the missing persons investigation and the actions undertaken by officers and detectives to locate Louis. That thorough investigation ran over several days and saw the senior investigating officer and family liaison officers provide Louis's family with regular updates throughout. A year and a half on from Louis's death, his family is still grieving for someone who was so deeply loved.
His funeral, over 500 people turned up, which I think just shows how loved he was. He was just always there for everyone, the life and soul of everything. He loved his girlfriend and he loved his family and his friends. It was his birthday weekend, you know, he was celebrating. It would have just been nicer if it had ended with a celebration and not how it did now.
Louis's sister says she and her family will always have and answer questions over what's happened to her brother, but says it's now time to move forward and live life for Louis. Victoria Davis, ITV News, Bristol.
Now, local blood bike groups such as Freewheelers and Yeovil Blood Bikes work across our region, giving free, out-of-hours transport services for blood and medical supplies.
As today marks National Blood Bike Awareness Day, the Nationwide Association of Blood Bikes want to spread the message that they're in need of more volunteers. Amrit Birdie has more.
Another day, another potentially life-saving delivery from Anne, the blood biker. She is one of 4,500 volunteers across the UK who transport medical essentials. And despite the name, it's not just about delivering blood.
We do a lot of really urgent medication, mainly palliative care medication, and anything really that the hospital wants us to transport. We've even done dentures and some quite bizarre things and medical equipment. It's very, very costly for them doing it by alternative transport. We do it for free for them.
Today, Anne's delivery takes her from hospital to hospice, where many end-of-life patients rely on their medications being dropped off.
Getting timely medications to patients is really important, and it can be really, really stressful for families to have to leave their loved ones when they are really sick and go and get prescriptions for them. They're always really, really grateful, I think, that somebody's done that job for them.
Blood bike services save the NHS millions of pounds every year, but they need more people to get involved. And it's not just bikers they're after.
It's that element of just doing something good for your local community. And because the organisations thrive on the goodwill of those volunteers, whether it's for those shifts driving or riding the bikes to deliver, or whether it's fundraising, or whether it's taking the telephone calls and helping administrate those local charities, we all rely on volunteers from all across the UK.
On National Blood Bike Awareness Day, volunteers like Anne and Sandy are celebrated for their selfless work. But for them, it's just another day on the road. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
All night, of course, as well. And we're joined, I'm so pleased to stay in the studio, by Mel Rowbottom from one of our amazing local groups, Freewheelers, that I'm very familiar with. Mel, it's lovely to see you. Do you think people quite often think that you are just part of the NHS?
Yeah, it's a common perception when we're out and about sort of trying to fundraise, etc., that they do assume we're part of the NHS, but we're not part of it, but we very much support what they actually do on a day-to-day basis.
Hugely.
Yeah.
It's not easy work. I mean, it's all hours of the day. What do you get out of it personally?
So I think it's more that sense of actually doing some good for the community. So I often say that as a volunteer, when you're riding at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's lashing down with rain, you go, why am I doing this? And then you remember that there's somebody at the end of it who's going to benefit. And that's the key, really, is you're doing it for a purpose to do some good for your community. And that's what drives everybody.
We can see you parking up there. And you've got real longevity of volunteers as well. I mean, people have been doing it for decades, haven't they?
Yes, yeah. So the group I'm with, Freewheelers, EV Blood Bikes, they started in 1990. I joined them in 2008, being their first lady rider, trying to encourage other people to get involved, which is really good. But we've got Yeovil Blood Bikes as well. So they actually started in 1978. So between us, we've got real good longevity in the charity. And the West Country is really beneficial because we've got quite a few groups. coming from like Cornwall into Southwest, across the Devon, Yeovil, like I was saying, Severn, and even up into
So do you
to
link up
Wales, and
sometimes?
we all link up. Yeah, so we do like relays. So it helps somebody. So if you've got somebody down in Cornwall, for example, we can start in Bristol and we'll do a relay down the country. So our volunteers stay within patch to help their local community.
It's difficult to stress, isn't it, how vital this service is. It really is that vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a link in the chain, really, in that care chain. So obviously the NHS will do all of their activity, etc., and then they can call us to sort of relay some items from A to B for them. So whether that's medical medicine, for example, for somebody who's been sent home to free bed space, whether it's samples. So we all say from end of life and baby, the whole cycle. So it could be a heel prick test, for example, or it could be medication to take to a hospice for somebody who wants sort of care at home. So you never know what you're going to pick up, but it is a key link in that chain.
Absolutely key, and so often I know, because I've ridden with you, that it is in the middle of the night as well. So Mel, thank you and all the gang.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Stroud Lido, which only 5 months ago was threatened with permanent closure, will be open to the public tomorrow.
Yeah, it follows a campaign by a community group to preserve the 90-year-old pool. The council says that in the long term it will need much more money spending on it, but for now the repairs should be good for a couple of years. Ken Goodwin reports.
Stroud Lido. Just 5 months ago it was in such a sorry state that it was under threat of permanent closure. But almost £500,000 later, it's ready for a grand reopening tomorrow. The Save Stroud Lido group refused to accept that this pool, which opened 90 years ago, was too old to have a future.
There's just been a huge swell of support from across the whole community, whether that's people who come here as a family for a holiday day, young people, teenagers hanging out together who want to come and enjoy that, people who swim for their mental health, or more serious kind of lane swimmers who are training. There's so many different groups of people who enjoy this place and who it is really important to.
Stroud District Council initially thought it would cost £5 million to completely renovate the pool. That's money it didn't have. When I was first shown around back in March, it did look as though its days were numbered.
This is the pool itself, so you can see that it doesn't take much for this to come up.
But with mounting pressure from the community, the council took another look and realised they could patch the pool up enough to get it open this summer.
The first time I came in, it getting pretty dire, wasn't it?
It was a work site with the concrete crumbling and the surroundings falling apart. And now, look, and the water is perfect. I can honestly say it's a perfect day for a swim.
And tomorrow the public will get their first chance for a dip since the Lido closed last September.
And we're really looking forward to the events this weekend and giving those people across the community a chance to really celebrate their input to the success of this. And we'd love to see the community have plenty of opportunity to contribute ideas and suggestions for the future of this Lido.
Surely, with the heat wave we've been having, tomorrow's opening is bound to get a big thumbs up. Ken Goodwin, ITV News, Stroud.
Being a Stroud resident and knowing that Lido really well, as a child as well, I'm really happy it's opening. Really.
You're going to jump in?
I'm going to. Yeah, I think I will. Yes.
Good. Now it's time for a look at the sport.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Right. Look who's in the studio. Ross.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Let's talk sport then.
You've committed to jumping in a pool, so yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Niceties out the way really quickly, and I've convinced myself I'm going to have to swim, aren't I?
And be filmed.
And be filmed.
Obviously.
Yeah, well, let us know when you do.
Let us know about Bath City. What's happening there?
Yeah, actually, really exciting news for one of our non-league sides. Don't usually star here, do we? But over the weekend, we brought you the update that the wheels were in motion over a potential multi-million-pound takeover of the Twerton club. Well, last night, the prospective new owner met with supporters to discuss what the future could look like if a deal is agreed. Plans are being laid out, but initially, there would be a significant single investment of over £6 million. That is believed to be the largest in any non-league football club in history.
We've got investors from all around the world. I think everyone's excited about that feeling you get when you have an opportunity to go on a journey in partnership with the fans and the local community. For me personally, it's life-changing. I'm all in. I've been really lucky to be backed by a great investor group. And I immediately thought, what an amazing opportunity. I've spent quite a lot of time down in Bath over the years. I think it's a beautiful city. Twerton's an amazing community. And it felt like a club that had a shot at going up the pyramid.
That is very exciting indeed. I can see why you started with that. But we're moving on to a very inspirational horse rider.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this week marked the start of the World Equestrian Games in Germany. Tegan Vincent-Cook from Bristol, well, she's actually representing Jamaica at the event, but the para dressage rider says she'll also be doing the West Country proud. And in the process of competing, she'll be making her own piece of history. There's few things that could come between Tegan and her horse Coco, and it's together that they'll be making history. Next week, Tegan will become Jamaica's first ever para dressage rider in the World Championships.
Good girl.
She qualifies for the country through her grandparents, but the rider, who lives with cerebral palsy, is at heart also representing her home of Bristol.
I'm very proud. I think when I grew up, I didn't really see myself in anyone, and especially in the equine world, there's not really a lot of representation within culture. So now that I get to be that for someone else, I'm very, very proud to do so. It is really special, and I think more now when I see like my grandparents that are Jamaican, and they've never really seen anyone in the horsey world represent their country. Now they get to see their granddaughter do it, and it's really emotional. I mean, even though I represent Jamaica, I'm still a Bristolian at heart, so it'll be a win for both of us.
She's travelling to Germany. There she'll go up against the best riders from around the globe. It's the biggest show she's ever been part of. No pressure though, instead just excitement to perform and give back to a sport that has given her so much.
For a lot of riders it is an escape from reality, and like within my normal life there's lots of restrictions and challenges with my disability. But then in the world of sport I can get on my horse and it's like an ultimate sense of freedom because I can do something that I'm good at, but also something that helps my body and my mind. And it's a great sport in itself for achievement and building strength and resilience. I mean, I honestly don't know what else I would do, and horses have been such a big part of my life, purely because it is a place of escape for me, but it's also a place of like therapy.
Her rise in this sport has been remarkable and it hasn't stopped yet. World Championships to come and then an LA Paralympic Games on the horizon. There she'll be hoping to write her own Hollywood storyline.
Good luck, Tegan.
I love that. You bring us hope and happiness.
It's not just me, by the way. She's talking about LA. Every time I've met Tegan, she's always talking about that. Said that if she gets there, she's really looking forward to it, and it'll be slightly better than Germany because there's beaches. So there you go.
There you go.
Well, I should imagine it's a bit like being on a beach when you're riding in this country at the moment.
Correct. Yeah, she's actually competing at the sort of tail end of next week. So yeah, best of luck to her. We'll let you know how she gets on.
Amazing.
All right. Thanks, Ross.
Now, you may have seen our report about the thriving population of seabirds on Lundy Island since the eradication of rats, which used to eat their eggs.
Well, it's not just baby birds being reared there. We're just entering the time for seal pups to be born as well. And it's important that humans give them space, however cute they may be. From Lundy, Bob Cruz reports.
Lundy is an important breeding site for Atlantic grey seals. With a resident population of around 180, their pups start being born on the beaches in August. The island's assistant warden Tara and volunteer Chloe have been out on their ribs scouring the coast from the water to see if there are any new arrivals yet. Do they haul themselves right up the beach to give birth? Or...
Yeah, they'll go probably almost above the high tide mark because they don't want their pups to be washed away.
And then they just leave the pup there to go and then feed themselves and come back and feed?
And the pup will just be sleeping on the back of the beaches, which is when we normally survey them.
This is a pup Tara filmed last year from up on the path overlooking the beach. Around 70 are born here each year.
The mums come all the way up to feed them several times a day. They kind of drag themselves up and down, which uses a lot of energy.
So the last thing these seals need is to be disturbed at a time like this, isn't it?
Yes, so seal disturbance is becoming a bit of an issue around Lundy, particularly for the adult seals. So the seal pups themselves, provided no one's very close to them, they're quite happy just sleeping on the back of the beach. But if there's anyone near the seal pups, the mums will not come to feed them because they feel very threatened, so they won't come up onto the beach, and then the pup could potentially starve.
At low tide, the adults rest on the rocks. If they're spooked and scramble to get back in the water, it costs them a lot of energy. And if they're pregnant, that could potentially injure their unborn pups, even leading to stillbirth. Seals are naturally inquisitive. This one took a real interest in the remote monitoring equipment the wardens use here, captured perfectly by its onboard camera. Lundy's a great place for snorkelling, which can sometimes lead to a close encounter with a seal, but the advice is to remember they are wild, however tempting it might be to try to get up close for a picture or video for social media.
If you interact with the seal in the water, it's very important that you give it space. Don't try and touch the seal, stroke the seal, hug the seal, kiss the seal. They're not Labradors, they are wild animals, and they can bite and they can spread diseases. Just let them swim around you. It's amazing to watch them, but you just need to kind of let them be and come and go on their own terms. And also, don't spend too long with the seals in the water, because although it's amazing to watch them, if they're interacting with you, they're not fishing or feeding their pups. So keep interactions short and give them space.
There are companies which offer wildlife cruises here, and wardens say it's important to choose a boat operator with the accreditation that shows they've had training to act responsibly around wildlife. But just watching from the jetty is enough for most people, who still get a great view and make sure the seals are not disturbed at this vital time of year for them. Bob Cruz, ITV News, Lundy Island.
There you go. Don't hug them, don't kiss them, and don't swim with them too long. You'd think that would be obvious advice, but clearly not.
Well, sometimes as well, you want to know, I mean, it's about leaving them a bit of space, isn't it? But why? And actually that explanation of them being exhausted, coming in to feed and then having to go back out, it just makes sense, doesn't it? So,
leave them be.
But they are cute. We'll film them for you.
Yeah. James Wright has the forecast now.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV West Country weather.
Hi there, good evening. After all that heat yesterday, it's still been a pretty warm day today, up into the 80s in old numbers. The weekend now, a bit more cloud floating about. It's still going to remain pretty warm here in the west. Hopefully, I say hopefully, things might turn a little bit unsettled next week. We do have a cold front drifting by. It's not producing a great deal of anything. In behind it, though, you can see how the air comes over the northern side of that high, so a slightly fresher source of air. So we run the sequence through the weekend into next week. We see another front head towards us. Again, the rain will be squeezed out of that, but this little feature here might just stay a bit to the north of us. If it does, we will stay dry. It might, though, produce a little bit of showery rain through Tuesday if the tail of that system drifts down across us. Fingers crossed we could do with some wet stuff. Overnight tonight, then, a mixture of cloud and clear spells. We're starting to see that breeze move in from a northerly direction. It's not that cool just yet. It will eventually take a while to freshen up. Lows at the end of the night, then, about 17 Celsius. If there's an upside, there is a bit of a breeze, so hopefully you can get some fresh air into where you're sleeping. As far as tomorrow goes, then, a mixed bag. Some cloud, some bright spells, some decent sunny spells. But now we've got that northerly flow of air, so it is starting to freshen up a little bit. So we're looking at highs of around 25 to 27 Celsius. So that's nudging 80 in Fahrenheit, but feeling a little less hot than it has done. Temperatures, like I say, are going to stay in the mid-20s, so feeling nice and comfortable. And then fingers crossed we might see some showery weather around on Tuesday.
TUI sponsors ITV West Country weather.
That's just a light hint of rain there. We need that.
It was, wasn't it? But just a hint. We'll see. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. Right. That's it from the two of us. Max is going to be back later, actually. Slightly later than normal, at 11:35.
It's quite late, actually. Good luck, Max. Next, the ITV News continues with Charlie. But for now, goodbye.